The biggest game of the weekend is tomorrow's Manchester derby. 2 weeks on from United's last home game, which was that humiliating 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. The pressure has lifted slightly on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it seems a crisis is never too far away. As for City, they thrashed Club Brugge in the week, having suffered that shock home defeat to Crystal Palace last weekend. Let's look ahead, shall we, to the big game tomorrow lunchtime, which is live on Sky. Ben Ransom's at the Etihad for us this evening. He'll give us the Manchester City view ahead of the game. But we're going to start at Old Trafford. That's where the match is tomorrow. Our reporter Vinny O'Connor is there to give us the United angle. Vinny, you were asking questions to Solskjaer in his news conference earlier, weren't you? What stood out for you?
It won't surprise you to know that Cristiano Ronaldo was a big topic of conversation. United's standout performer at the moment. He certainly looked to be enjoying fostering team spirit in midweek as well when the players all went out for lunch. But you look at his goals involvement at the moment as well. They've helped ensure that Manchester United are in a far healthier position, both in Europe and at home, than they might have been. I'm thinking the skill and the pass for Cavani's goal at Spurs, also the composure and the strike for the opener at Spurs from Ronaldo. 2 goals again in midweek to rescue that draw against Atalanta in the Champions League, makes it 4 from his last 4 in all competitions, 9 in 11 in all competitions so far this season as well. A warning for Manchester City too. Ronaldo has scored 8 goals in 16 appearances against sides managed by Pep Guardiola. Now, at one point in the summer, of course, it looked like he could possibly be playing for Pep Guardiola. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says that was never going to happen and has only got praise for Ronaldo's influence on his side here at Old Trafford.
He's one of the best players that's ever walked on this planet, and his impact so far on and off the pitch has been absolutely immense. The goals he scores, the way he conducts himself in and around the place. So how people can say that's a negative, I can't see that one. So we're really pleased that he has started off as well as he has. But that's what he does. He scores goals. He works for his team, and he's a top professional.
Well, Vinny, the manager's come in for a lot of criticism of late, hasn't he? But actually, his record against Guardiola is very good. What did he have to say about that?
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could really do with that record continuing as well after just 1 Premier League win in 5, with defeats to Liverpool, Leicester and Villa in that time as well. But this weekend is a chance to move level on points with Manchester City to really close up the gap on those teams above them as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has won 4 of his 8 meetings with Pep Guardiola, the best of any manager who's faced him at least 5 times. And United are unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games against City as well, winning 3, drawing 1. Their longest unbeaten run against them since 2011, when they completed a 6-match unbeaten run. That said, a record like that is not going to guarantee anything for the manager tomorrow.
We've had a few good results against them. We've had some good games, but they're tight games, and we need another performance like this. And sometimes you need luck. Sometimes you need the players to really stuck out. We know this is going to be a game that we have to work hard, suffer a lot, but we have to believe in ourselves. We have to trust ourselves, because we're at home, and as you say, we've had a good few results, and let's hope that continues. But we don't take that for granted. We know we need to earn it.
How important do you feel the result is in this derby game, also in terms of your own future?
You know, when I stepped in the doors here in December 2018, 3 years ago, there's been speculation ever since. So that's no problem. We moved on from the Liverpool game. Of course, it's always going to be there as a dark moment in our careers, but we've had a good week with 2 good results away from home, and we're ready for this game. You don't expect anything. You don't expect an easy ride when you become manager of Man United. So that's how it is.
So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Vinny O'Connor there with the United angle. Let's focus on City now. Our reporter Ben Ransom sat down with Pep Guardiola today. We're going to speak to Ben in a moment, but before we do that, here is his in-depth conversation with the City boss.
On the morning of a derby, you've had enough of these games now. Do you ever feel any differently going into a game against someone like Manchester United?
Not much.
No,
because I was not born here. I know how special it is, so I cannot deny it. And for everything, and then wake up in the morning, and a few hours later we are already in Old Trafford. So, but it's different. So here like I said before, you arrive after, we play Wednesday, arrive yesterday, we start here 10, 12 hours, prepare the game, and you don't leave the city or the environment, and I'm not paying attention much about the TVs and the info, so it's just what they have to do, and that's all.
Has this game at all grown on you? Because you've now been in Manchester a long time, you know a lot of the people here.
Yeah, I can understand. So I had derbs in Barcelona and in Munich as well. So I know how important it is for everyone. But it's not a final like sometimes we have played. That is, I played final of the Champions League against United. That just was wow. That was important. Here it is, of course, but at the end it's not just more than 3 points.
In recent seasons, in the Premier League specifically, for some reason Manchester United have had the upper hand in terms of results. How do you explain those games?
They are a good team, and that can happen. But we don't forget the points in the last 5 or 6 years. In every single season we were ahead of them in the Premier League. So if you want to say, okay, they beat us, it's because they can happen, they are good. But I would have signed when I landed here to finish. After 5 seasons, this is the 6th, the amount of points that we have ahead of us if we count every single season. So, and at the end, that is what counts.
It's not easy for managers when things aren't going well, and for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was under a lot of pressure after that Liverpool defeat in particular. What did you make of the way he handled that pressure and bounced back against Tottenham?
I don't know what he has done. So maybe I have to learn. You have to ask him and learn from that. But he knows, for his experience, all the managers, him and me included, and all the managers around the world depend on the results. When the results is good, you are safe. When are not good, everything can happen. And in a big clubs like United is, so big defeats always the rumors and talks and happen, but. Nobody's out of this situation when the results are not good.
You come up against Cristiano Ronaldo, who you described as a scoring machine. What's different about the Ronaldo that you will face tomorrow compared to perhaps the last time that your teams faced him?
A specific him? But I think he scored goals all his life, and he will have 75 years old, maybe will be retired, but in the barbecue he's going to play a game and he's going to score goals. So this type of guys like Messi, like him, like what they have done or he has done in the last decade in the world football, in wherever gone, scoring goals, and helping his teams to win, speak for himself. So it's good for the Premier League coming back. I think United, belongs to Cristiano. Cristiano belongs to United. So it's a good fitting. It was in the past, and maybe it will be good in the present, in the future. We will see.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said that he could never see Cristiano Ronaldo wearing a blue shirt. Did it ever come close to him joining Manchester City?
But you have to ask them. You have to ask them. So.
Not from your point of view.
No, you have to ask them. Ole said that he could not imagine to be here. You have to ask him. So at the end, how they call him. So it's good. Do you think both are happy to be each other there? So this is the most important thing.
You, as a young person, got to watch Diego Maradona. You have got to see now Cristiano Ronaldo. You've coached and developed Lionel Messi. You've got Kevin De Bruyne here. I just wonder, those elite players, is there something that sets them apart, that takes them to that absolute world-class level that you've seen?
Yeah, the class players, fantastic players, always they show it. So what I learned from this type of players is especially skills, and especially is what they have here, and that's what they do in the special players. They cannot be 10 years, 12 years scoring 40, 50, 55, 60 goals, both of them during a long time. It's because they are special.
Can you teach that?
I don't know. I think it comes from mom and dad. I would say, yeah.
Can we talk about Phil Foden and his role as this false nine? How have you seen him adapt to that role this season?
Yeah, quite well. But I think Phil can play in many positions, so it's not a big problem. So yeah, good. I think They adapt good. So, but he can play left winger, play good as well, and right winger as well. So, still has the energy that still he move and do everything for instinct, and hopefully in the future he has to understand exactly what he has to do, especially when we play in the middle, in the position he has to play, and understand more the game in a global. Still he moves like for his energy, for the young teenager, and the quality, like everything solved for himself. And the time he has to understand and read exactly what he has to do in every single moment and where the spaces are. And hopefully in the future he can get it.
Interesting reaction to the City Ronaldo question, wasn't it? Ben, Ransom was the man asking the questions there, and he rejoins us now from the Etihad. Ben, it's been a mixed week for City, really, hasn't it? How did Pep seem to you?
Well, I think, you heard in that sit-down interview I did with him straight after the press conference, he was much more relaxed. I think he was keeping his emotions in check a lot today. Whether that was a strategy or whether that's just purely because they've had such a high workload, given that they only played on Wednesday night against Club Brugge. There was a recovery session for the players yesterday, and then Pep Guardiola came in to face the media at lunchtime today. Little session this afternoon, the only time he got to work with his team and players ahead of that game. And then let's not forget, they're in the hotel tonight, ready for Manchester United tomorrow at 12:30. So there's not been a lot of time, I don't think, for them to prepare for this game. We saw him after the game on Wednesday very animated. He was very passionate in that press conference, if you remember what we heard earlier in the week. He kept going on about how Manchester City do everything for themselves. They don't get any help from anyone. And whether that was just trying to galvanise his players or not, I'm not quite sure. Today, though, it was very calm. I don't think he wanted to lift and raise the profile of this game any more than it needs to be already. But you have to consider for both teams, we heard from Vinny a little bit earlier on talking about the importance to Manchester United, but for City as well in the league, this is now getting to a crucial part of the season because Chelsea have been pretty unrelenting. They had that difficult start in terms of fixtures, didn't they, Chelsea? But they managed to get their noses in front. They've got this slightly easier run. They're already 5 points clear of City at the top, City in third place now. So really they can't afford to allow Chelsea to get too far away, even though, as Guardiola was keen to point out today, there are still 28 matches left of the Premier League season. So it is important that City start to get results. Their recent form, as we've been hearing, has not been fantastic against Manchester United, particularly in the Premier League, not beating them now in 4 meetings. Solskjaer, the only manager in the world to have met Guardiola 4 or more matches and to have a better record in a head-to-head. So there's a little bit there. But City will point to those wins in the Carabao Cup. They'll point to the fact that they're starting to find the rhythm. And I think we saw that in midweek. And Phil Foden scoring, it was interesting to hear him talk about Foden in that false 9 role, because it is a role now where he seems to be becoming more and more instinctive and more excelling in his movement and positioning, because it's a difficult thing to learn. You can't underestimate the size of the task. Guardiola's tactical shape, particularly for his offensive players, does take players a lot of time to get their heads around, because it relies not just on 1 or 2 moving parts, does it? You've got 5, 6 or 7 at any one time. Phil Foden, just 21 years old, he's been very much a student of what Pep Guardiola's taught him, and he's played in so many positions across the front line. The fact he is now finding this position and making it his own, I think, is a testament to the quality that he brings. And let's not forget, from Foden's point of view as well, excuse me, born in Stockport, raised on this side of the city. He's City through and through. So for him, the derby is a hugely important occasion. If for Guardiola, perhaps it's not the biggest game that the club faced this season. Across the city now, actually, I don't know if you can hear behind me, there are fireworks starting to go off already to celebrate bonfire night. So I think the fans will be treated to a display, as if on cue, of a different kind tomorrow.
Nicely done, Ben. Thanks very much indeed.